The Forza Motorsport reboot is here! 6 years after Forza Motorsport 7, Xbox's most popular racing game experience is back. But before you get behind the wheel, here's 5 tips that will get you ahead of the competition. On startup, the game defaults to all assists turned on, and some very beginner-friendly controller and wheel settings. If you want to go fast, you'll need to make some changes. If you're on controller, head to driving assists, turn everything off apart from ABS and set steering to normal. Looking at the leaderboards, whether manual or manual with clutch is faster seems to depend on the car, so the choice is yours. If you're in a wet race with a powerful rear-wheel drive car, you may want to add some traction control too. Next to controller. I've set A as my clutch, B to shift up and X to shift down, though of course you'll want to experiment to find what's right for you. In advanced controller, lower all of the inside dead zones to 5 to start with, and increase the outside dead zones to 95. This will make accelerator, brake and steering inputs far more responsive. And once you've got a feel for the physics and handling, you can lower the inside dead zones even further for that little extra control. The default vibrations are also pretty strong on controller, so I've set the vibration scale to 10. If you're on a wheel, in driving assists, turn off everything, set steering to simulation and shifting to manual, or manual with clutch if you have one. Head to input to bind all of your wheel and pedal inputs, then onto advanced input. Each wheel and pedal set is different, so bear in mind these are just a starting point and you should fine-tune this on track. Set all of the inside dead zones to 0 and outside dead zones to 100. I'm running the Moza R12 on PC, and I've reduced the vibration scale to 50, increased road feel to 135, increased low sensitivity to 80, reduced wheel damping and center spring to 10, and reduced dynamic damper behavior to 90. These are by no means perfect and still need a lot of tuning, but it's a decent start. If you're just starting out, in driving assists, I'd recommend setting suggested line to braking only, and scrolling down to additional assists and turning track limits on. This will help you learn which corners you can cut and by how much, which is super important for lap time. And you can of course turn both of these assists off once you've built up your experience. Not all cars are created equal. Transmission, weight, power, these all make huge differences to a car's potential speed, and they really matter in Forza Motorsport. I chose the Honda Civic Type R as my starter car and found the intro to be a cakewalk. Later on, I chose a Toyota Supra for the Built for Sport series, and that was a much greater challenge. The PI level is your car's rough strength. Bigger is better, but be aware that more powerful cars may not be as easy to control, so check the car's details to make sure it's right for you. More modern cars also come with more modern parts, including better gearboxes which eliminate the power loss between gears. This can make more modern, lower-powered cars quicker than older, higher-powered machines. Once you've increased your car level, you'll be able to upgrade your way out of a lot of these downsides. That brings us nicely on to the CarPG system. Here's the main car upgrades I think you should aim for with each new car, plus the tuning options they unlock, and some basic adjustments you can make. Stock cars tend to come with chronic understeer, so get the race-grade rear anti-roll bars as soon as you can. By stiffening this bar in your tuning menu, the car will turn more, effectively increasing your turning radius. Go too far and you'll be drifting all over the place, so test it on track to find the sweet spot for speed. Next, go for race-grade springs and dampers. These allow you to adjust your toe and camber, which will further increase your performance in the corners. Add a negative camber, say -1 at the front and -0.5 at the rear, and set front toe to 0.5 and rear toe to -0.5. You'll need to fine-tune this for each car and track to find the right balance between straight line and corner speed, but this should be a good starting point. Race springs and dampers also allow you to stiffen the springs and reduce the ride height. The lower the center of gravity, the better the handling in the corners. Be sure to add some rake, making the front lower than the rear, for some extra turn-in on corner entry. After that, race transmission will switch your stock gearbox for a sequential, so you're getting the absolute most out of your engine and eliminating any lost time between the gears. This also lets you change your gear ratios, which you'll want to adjust for each track. Long straights and few corners, push towards speed. Tight and twisty circuit, push towards acceleration. As your engine gets more powerful, combine this with a race-grade clutch and flywheel, only 200 car points total, so the car can handle the increased power. Finally, race-grade tyres are essential. You'll unlock these at around level 11, and they're mega expensive, but they're worth every last car point. So much so that it might be worth it to roll back on previous upgrades just to get your racing slicks. Race grade tyres are the single biggest upgrade you can add to your car, totally changing the handling and giving you far more grip in the corners and on corner exit. With career mode races being so short, sticking race softs on your car makes getting to the podium, even starting from the back of the grid, far easier, so you'll want to grab these as soon as you can. 3 aspects are crucial to success in multiplayer: your fuel, your tyres, and driving clean. Before qualifying, reduce your fuel to 3 laps and stick on your racing softs to have the best chance of qualifying higher up the grid. Before the race starts, increase your fuel to the race distance, I do the race distance plus 1 lap just to be safe, and switch to medium tyres. In most short races, soft tyres will fall off a clip in the last 1 to 2 laps, becoming several seconds a lap slower than the medium runners. If you can build a gap and hold it, feel free to risk it on the softs, but it's a big gamble. During the race, outright speed is often more important than position, especially in the early laps. Don't waste time in long battles and be sure to give your opponents racing room. Cars in Forza Motorsport have a habit of sticking together if you make door-to-door contact, so it's often better to let an opponent exit a corner ahead of you and fight them into the next corner rather than go side by side on corner exit. If you do make contact, Forza's penalty system does an okay job, but it certainly has its moments. I came across a very aggressive driver that blocked and punted me multiple times, and the 2 to 3 second penalties he received didn't really feel like a just outcome when I was in the gravel. In most lobbies, there will be plenty of drivers with penalties by the end of the race, so drive clean, stay within the track limits, and you may gain some free positions at the checkered flag. Getting faster as you play is part of the Forza journey, and thankfully there's plenty of ways to supercharge your progress. In the Builders' Cup, upping the difficulty also increases the target time in the practice mode. The higher difficulties can put up some challenging times to beat, so working your way up the difficulty ladder will undoubtedly increase your outright speed. If you can surpass the target time on the highest difficulty, you'll be well on your way to fulfilling your potential. Rivals mode, Forza's take on time attack, is a great way to push your ability further. Go to your selected event, head to the leaderboard and select a top time. Here you can watch their replay from all camera angles, or even better, set their time as your rival or as a training ghost so you can race against them. This is a great way to learn the ideal gears for particular sections of track, the lines you can take, and how much you can cut particular corners. Perfect for pushing your limits and getting even faster. Right now, Forza Motorsport's optimization on PC is pretty awful, so here's how to get the most out of your hardware. Starting with the automatic settings as a baseline, enable DLSS on an Nvidia card or FSR 2.0 on an AMD card. I found little difference between auto and ultra performance on my 3070 Ti, but feel free to experiment with your card. The game's resolution has a massive effect on the frame rate, so if you can cope with your resolution fluctuating in exchange for more frames, set your resolution scale to auto. If you'd prefer to be locked at a higher resolution, set your resolution scale as desired, performance target to unlocked, and disable ray tracing. With performance target set to unlocked, the game may reduce the visual fidelity to push extra frames. If you're happy for the game to run at 60 FPS, bearing in mind that multiplayer is locked to 60 FPS as standard, or 72 FPS on a 144Hz monitor, set the performance target to 60 FPS, so it'll optimize around maxing the graphics whilst maintaining that frame rate. And there we have it, a whole host of tips to get you started in your Forza Motorsport journey. Are you already playing, or are you getting started today? What are your thoughts on the game so far? Let us know in the comments below. If you'd like to hear our full review on Forza Motorsport so far, you can find the link in the info card and down in the description. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like, and for all the latest in racing games and beyond, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to catch our latest videos as soon as they go live. I'm John from TopSplit, and I'll see you out on track.